Hi, Tristan Rivers here, and I'm here to respond to years of your comments and questions about the Floyd Rose FRX. So I guess the first big comment or question is, Tristan, do more videos. So that's done. The D-Tuna. First thing that needs to be said right away is it works almost exclusively when the bridge is blocked out. It might function some way without that being the case, but yeah, with the FRX, you're lucky enough that it's got this thumb screw right here that blocks it out, so you can't really pull back. Because if you're going to drop D, you're changing the tension on the bridge. So if it's floating, it's just going to pull back, and you're going to put everything out of tune. So it has to be blocked out like this. Now, along with that, I had somebody ask a question because I had said in my video on using the D-Tuna with the FRX that you could install it, it works fine, but if you wanted to also switch back to a floating system, like removing that thumb screw and just not use the D-Tuna, could you do it? It extends past this metal mounting piece. So even if you're not going to use it, even if it's not engaged, you can't really pull back on it because it's going to hit this piece of metal here. So somebody had asked, can you route out the guitar in order to have the D-Tuna fit? You can't, because the bridge itself, the mounting plate's in the way, so that's just not going to work. I just wanted to say that I kind of waited a bit to answer this stuff just because I didn't want to talk about anything Eddie Van Halen or EVH right after he passed away. It just seemed kind of wrong, you know, to possibly get clicks and stuff like that just because of him passing away. I mean, I didn't know the guy. I'd only been in the same room as him like once, technically, in my life, if you count an arena, you know, 20 rows back. But like probably all you guys watching this, he had some sort of impact on our life as a guitarist. So yeah, I just figured it'd be disrespectful if I talked about this too soon. So if I didn't get to this stuff soon enough for you, if you ask these questions, I apologize, but yeah, I just wasn't going to do it. Okay, how durable is the metal? It's probably not the best stuff, but I mean, I haven't had any issues with it, and I've had it on here for quite a few years now. I know Michelangelo Badio has been using them on his signature guitars. Britt Lightning's been using them on Les Paul's touring. So they take a beating. They work. Are you going to wear it out? I don't know. I'm not terribly abusive to my bridges. I've only worn out one on like my main, one of those Ibanez's back there. I'm probably not the best one to venture a guess on that, but it's worked so far for me. Like, actually, this takes me to the one problem that I thought I had, or I guess I do have to some extent, but on the back here, that screw that adjusts the tension, a problem that some other people have talked about, and that's the screw that you use to loosen tension. It's normally supposed to be centered, right? And it's kind of pushing up in there. Now, I thought that was influencing to some degree the functionality of my bridge, because it felt like it was kind of grinding a little bit. It wasn't working right. The good news is literally today, and this is kind of what inspired me to, you know, really sit down and do this video now, was I noticed that there's a little metal piece here, that setting screw, like the one that puts like that 0 point on. I can't remember exactly what they called it in the literature, but there's that rubber screw that gives you sort of like this stop point that works. Well, it worked relatively well. But anyways, there's this metal piece here which actually got bent and was rubbing up against this this mounting piece. So that's what was causing the grinding. So I just bent it back into place literally this afternoon, and you know, here, I can even throw this on, yeah. Yeah, it's just fluttering the way it should again. It used to interfere a little bit because there was that friction, but the problem that I thought was a big problem that I'd seen, not an awful lot, but I had seen mentioned before on like forums and stuff like that. For me, it actually wasn't a big deal. That little screw kind of being up a little bit wasn't any of my issues, and it's all fixed with just like bending that little piece of metal. Okay, I've probably talked about this before, but stuff to do with like the installation. I think it's very important to mention, and just because I don't think it's clear enough, it does not mount to like a Tune-o-matic style bridge. it mounts to the stop tailpiece. Okay, so that's very important, because I've been getting a bunch of questions or comments like, I don't know, the usual one is to fit a Flying V or an Explorer or something like that. And if it's got like the string through body, it's not going to work. I remember somebody leaving a comment about, oh, well, you can fix a Dtuna ML that doesn't have a trem, because I guess everybody's thinking like Dimebag. But you know what, honestly, I don't actually know if Dimebags would have originally had a Floyd. That might have been aftermarket, but don't quote me on that. Either way, if you want to install this without any alterations on your guitar, most Deans won't work, because they're mostly string through or already have Floyd Roses. So what would be the point? And then yeah, I know there's all kinds of guitars that'll have the string through. It's got the Tune-o-matic bridge, but no stop tailpiece. And it's that stop tailpiece that this is mounted to. So actually that answers the question. Somebody asked if the ABR style Gibson bridge, if that works versus the Nashville style ones or the Epiphone ones, like the metal inserts that the bridge posts screw into. Well, it's irrelevant, because you don't actually attach it to the bridge, it's a tailpiece. So it doesn't matter as long as you got the stop tailpiece. Locking tuners on this instead of using like the nut piece, what would that do? Obviously it's not going to do too much. I mean, having the tuners, the locking tuners, is at a certain amount of stability, but the issues are usually at the nuts. So these locking pieces here, they're useful because that's what essentially ends the string and makes it so it stays in tune. Otherwise, if it doesn't wrap perfectly around the machine head the way it was before, or if it's not sliding through the nut properly, it's out of tune, right? So locking tuners, I mean, they'd be nice, but they'd be the most valuable if you had some kind of like roller nut or something where the strings move properly. I mean, it just needs to be slotted properly. Something to think about, I guess, was that whole string butler thing that's you can get for your 3-on-3 headstocks like Gibson's, that makes the strings run straight through the nut. That might be an interesting thing to try out. Maybe I'll buy one and give it a go, see if that helps with tuning stability if I didn't have the nut assembly on there. I guess the only other comment that I wanted to talk about, so my full review that I made of the FRX, some comments I got was, Tristan, lay off the drugs. I think it was just because I was sniffing a lot. Honestly, I probably was technically on drugs, probably a whole bunch of cold medication, because when I made that video, I was very, very sick. I also had lost the camera audio too. Or sorry, not the camera audio, my good audio, so I had to use the camera audio. All the noises of me breathing were kind of exaggerated because I had to compress the audio quite a bit. So yeah, there we go. I made another video in one take because I'm lazy and I just can't stand doing all that editing as much as I loved doing this. That was kind of one of the big things that would keep me from making videos. So if you want me to make more videos, whether it's a little bit higher production quality or just me sitting down and talking like this, subscribe, like the video. All that stuff lets me know that it's worth keeping doing this. Of course, all the comments, I mean, that's what keeps pulling me out of the woodwork. So I guess that's it for this one. That's like 2 in like a year's worth of time. That's pretty nuts for me. I guess I'll see you guys soon.